Good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the channel. I appreciate you guys tuning back in. Sorry it's been a while, but with family life and work, I just don't have time to make a lot of videos. But I am going to complain right now, which I don't know if that's something you guys want to see or not, but this really irritates me. PennDOT, our Department of Transportation here in Pennsylvania, just decided to tar and chip our entire road, which means that I cannot drive my car for about a week. And as you can see, it's got lots of white marks here in the driveway. But as you can also tell, like, these things are really loose. It's definitely not, like, this year can definitely screw up your car. So I decided not to drive on it. So since I can't take the car anywhere, I'm going to get a little bit of a different background for this upload, which is going to be in the backyard of my parents' house, which is where the car is stored. So let's get back there. You know, if I'm completely straight up honest with you guys about this car, the C4 Corvette is the ugliest generation they've ever made.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Yeah, seriously. People have told me that, and whenever I was younger, a couple years, probably 15 years ago, I honestly thought that the C4 was a very ugly generation. And it's funny because once you own one, your opinions really do decide to change. I know I follow a YouTuber named StreetSpeed717. He's had several Corvettes, and about a year ago he had a C4, did a bunch of stuff with it, and sold it. And he admitted that before he bought that car, he never liked the C4s, but once he had one and drove it and owned it, that he actually fell in love with it. And that's exactly how I feel about this car. Whenever I went to look for one at the local dealerships and stuff, I definitely wanted one that was a 91 or more, and I'll explain that a little bit later in the video. But obviously I found what I wanted, got what I wanted, and I'm very happy, and I love the C4 generation now. And I want to explain to you guys a few reasons why. I don't have an exact number because I don't really know what number it's going to be, but here are the reasons why I love the C4 generation Corvette. Let's get to it. So the first thing, number one, that I love about this car, it's hard to find a number one, but I'm not really putting these in any particular order because I don't really know what I love the most about the car, other than the fact that it's black, because I love black cars. But one of the things that I love about this car is this. I love how these hoods go up in the air like this instead of the typical way that a normal car does. I just think that whenever you see a car with a hood up like this, it's a very high chance it's a Corvette. I mean, there are a lot of our cars that do have hoods like this, but Corvette has always had this for, I'm not exactly sure on this. I don't know what year they actually started doing it this way. I don't think the first ones had it. If they did, correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways, I do like how the hood is up like this because it kind of sets the car apart from other vehicles, because it's, like I said, every other vehicle you have, the hood goes up, like towards the what do you call that thing? Windshield. Yeah, the windshield. I love that about the car. And while we're on the hood subject, I do like the flip-up headlights. I know a lot of people that I have talked to actually don't like the C7s because they don't like that they got rid of the pop-up headlights. But it's like anything else. People didn't like that the headlights were no longer round. People didn't like that they didn't look Corvette-y anymore. But it's one of those things that, they change it, you have to get used to it. And I personally love the new design of the C7s. I think it's the best looking Corvette out there. But the headlights do work very well. I'll show you a real quick video here what it looks like. You can see how they go out. pretty neat. It is a known issue with these cars that sometimes the headlights, the motors and stuff kind of quit working and you have issues. Knock on wood. I don't have any wood around here to knock on, but knock on wood, I've not had any issues, and I'm very glad I haven't. The next thing about this car that I really, really love about the C4s, not all C4s, but I know this year and earlier, not entirely earlier, I don't think, but maybe so, I'm not sure. But I love how all 4 tires and wheels on this car are the same. What I mean by that is they're the same width, and you can actually put this tire on the back. Now, you can't crisscross them or put this on the other side because they are directional tires and they can only go one way. But the thing that's really cool about that is every year I will swap my tires front to back. I'll put them on the front, put them on the back. Now I know, like, my buddy of mine has a 1990, I think it's a 1994, and his front tires are a different width than the back. So, you know, when you have that kind of setup, you can't ever rotate your tires at all. You can't put them anywhere, because if you put it on the other side, it's going to be the opposite direction. If you put it on the back, it's going to be too narrow. So I like how like with mine, that I can do that, because it's really odd, and I don't know why this happens, but the rear tire always seems to get a little lower in tread than the fronts. It's kind of weird. But because that happens, I do have to put the rears on the fronts every once in a while and let the ones that were on the front experience the back, and once again they continue to lose rubber. I'm not really sure what's going on there. If you happen to know, let me know in the comments below. The next thing that I love about this car is definitely the rear hatch. I personally cannot stand convertibles. I don't like the looks of the rag top at all. If it was a hard top, it'd be okay for whenever it's up, but I also hate the way the car looks whenever it's just the windshield and then a flat back. I don't like that. I like being able to see the back window all the time, whether the top's on or not. I love the back window on these cars. I do like how you can, like, there's basically no blind spots at all. You can look behind you in all directions and see everything, which is awesome for safety on the road. And I just like the way the glass is. It's one piece that has the rounded look to it, and I like, let me see here, I just like how it goes up and how easy it is to store stuff in here. Right now, as you can see, I have my roof back here, right here. It latches in right here, and it sits in those grooves over there and up there. But even when the roof's in here, if you pull this back, there's still plenty of room down there. That's my leather jacket when it's cooler outside, but plenty of room. Suitcases, groceries, a golf bag, anything you want in there can fit, and it's awesome, because a lot of your sports cars do not have that kind of room, and for that reason, I love that about the C4 Corvette. Another thing that brought to my attention while I was back here is I love this gas gauge. I mean, not a gas gauge, sorry. The lid here for the gas tank. I like how this just lifts up. It's got a cool feeling to it. I'm trying to think how I want to explain that feeling, but it's very satisfying. I'll say that. I like how when you take this lid off, how you can just sit this right here and leave it alone. You don't gotta let it hang off a string on the side of your car and scratch the paint all up. This is very well thought out and very easy to do anything with. I had to replace my fuel pump last year. Take 4 screws out, this comes off. You take a couple screws out around this thing, and the fuel pump actually pulls right up out of this thing. And my dad's a mechanic. He's a full-time pastor now, but he is a mechanic. He was a mechanic for most of his life, and him and I did that job. Sorry, you can't see me. Him and I did that job last, I'm gonna say it was like November, and he could not believe how easy it was, because a lot of fuel pumps are inside the tank, or they're on top of the tank. You got to drop the tank to get to it. They're just a pain in the butt. But I do love that about the C4 Corvette as well. Another thing that I love about this car are these letters. They actually pop out from the bumper. They're not like just written on the bumper any sort of way. And one thing I did not know about this car when I bought it is these letters, you can actually take the letters off the bumper. Now they are glued on there, so you gotta work at them to get them off, but you can replace them with lots of different colors. They have all kinds of different colors you can get of these, and you just glue them and put them in there. And I got red because it matches my brake calipers. But the reason I know about this is kind of a funny story. Whenever my car was taken through a cornfield, which if you haven't seen that video, go back a few and you'll run into it. Whenever this car was taken through a cornfield, I had to get it repainted. Whenever I went to the shop, they asked me, what color do you want your letters? And I was like, what do you mean? They said, well, they come off. I was like, no, they don't. They said, yeah, they do. So they got a paintbrush, with some red paint and just painted over the letters before it got repainted and stuff. I mean, it didn't matter at that point. They just painted over the letters. I'll put a picture up right here. And when I saw that picture, I sent it to my best friend and a couple other friends. Like, hey, I said, what do you guys think of making these letters red? They were black before. And they're like, dude, yeah, definitely do that. So I went online, bought some new letters and put them on there, and I have loved that ever since. I just love how they stick out and you can actually replace them if you want to. And the dual exhaust over there and over there. Now, that's not true dual exhaust because they do come together in the center of the car into a catalytic converter, which is hollowed out, maybe. Yeah, it's hollowed out. But I love how there's exhaust on both sides. Now I know that the newer cars have C5s, and newer they have the two right here in the center, which I love the looks of that as well. I don't really like one over the other, but I do like how these do have exhaust on both sides of the car it comes out. Now I don't know how many of you are fans of these louvers. I think they're called louvers, the black lines in my taillights. But they were actually on there when I bought the car, so I've never actually seen this car without them, except for whenever I got it painted. But I really do like the looks of them. Well, before I owned a Corvette, I used to see like C5s and C6s that had them, and at the time I'm like, dude, why would you put that in your car? Because a lot of ones I saw were chrome, and I just think that looks stupid in my opinion. But I do like them on this car, especially since it matches the paint so well, because it's black, of course. But yeah, I love those louvers on this car. If you notice on the back end of these cars, this little spoiler looking like thing, see how it's flat here and then it kind of just comes up? Not very much, but I'd say it probably comes up about a total of maybe 3/8 to half an inch, 3/8 of an inch to half an inch total. But just that little bit really sets off the car. I think it just looks better, because I know back, I forget what year it was, I looked at my poster a couple weeks ago, but there was a time where the Corvettes, it actually ended here and actually dropped down, and I didn't like the looks of that at all. It just kind of looked goofy. But I do like how the spoiler on these goes up a little bit, and just that little tiny bit really makes it look good. And speaking of the rear bumper, brings me to my next point. So I said earlier in the video that I wanted to get a 1991 or newer, and I was going to tell you why. Well, this is the reason why. The C4 generation up until 1991, so 1990s and before, the C4 generation, the rear bumper was shaped like in a V, kind of, try to explain this to you. So right here, instead of coming out around, it kind of went in and out. I mean, that's a little drastic, I didn't go that much, but it kind of made a V shape right here. Anyone that knows anything about the C4 Corvettes will know exactly what I'm talking about. And I don't know, man, I cannot appreciate that design. There's a guy I work with, a real nice guy. It's kind of funny. I may have already said this in a previous video, but he has a silver Jetta TDI and a black C4 Corvette, which is exactly what I have, which is kind of cool. But he bought his Corvette brand new in '84, and his has the V-shaped bumper. And we drive them to work every once in a while, and when we do, of course I get pictures, because who doesn't? And I'll put a picture of them side by side right here. And as you can see, mine is rounded out, whereas his is shaped in like a V. And I don't like that look. I know there's a lot of C4 fans out there that probably do, and that is perfectly fine. I'm glad you do. I just personally don't care for it. But on this car, I just love that rounded look. I just think that rounded look just looks really nice. And I think the reason why I like it so much is because I am a huge fan of the C5 generation too. I think the C5 will definitely be on my next Corvette whenever I get one way down the road. Because I just love the rounded body style. I think it's beautiful, and the back end of these looks so much like the C5s, which is why I like that part of the C4s as well. And on that same note, as far as when I said about like rounded body styles, another thing I love about the C4s, at least from 91 up, again, is the front bumper as well. I like the more roundiness look. The front ends of the C4s, like 90 and before, were like real squared off and kind of edgy, or like squared, I guess you'd say. And the C4s, sorry, I keep saying C4s, the 1991s and later did not have that. And I'll kind of explain here what I mean, but like, you see here where it comes down, it's kind of rounded, and this right here is kind of rounded as well. It kind of comes down at an angle. With the prior to this year, it kind of came straight down, and it just kind of looked kind of blocky, and I didn't care for that at all. Now I will say, this view right here is one view of the C4 all C4s that I do not care for. I don't know, it just kind of looks weird to me. But my favorite view of the car is like this view right here. I just think that view is really nice. I also really enjoy just the plain old side view like this. And I also absolutely love, my favorite view of the car is like right here. I love the back end of these cars, and even straight on, I like it. I like the way it looks a ton myself. So let's hop into the interior here. There's definitely things about the interior that I love, and I will show you that right now. So the very thing that I complained about in my most recent video about my radio not working, which since that video has come up, I want to take just a few seconds here and really, you can't see me. I want to take a few seconds here and really thank all of you who gave input or comments or compliments or just ideas of how to fix or replace the parts on my car that's broken. Some people gave me prices, some people gave me links, some people gave me like their own actual experience fixing their problems, and I can't tell you guys how much that means to me. The fact that you guys watch the video, notice a problem, and let me know about it, or try to help out, even though you have no idea who I even am, really means a lot to me, guys, and I really appreciate everything. I also very much appreciate the subscribers. I noticed there's a lot of people watching the video who aren't subscribers. I'm not sure what's up with that. Maybe you just don't like the content. If you don't, sorry. Can't please everyone, but thank you so much for everyone who has. If you have not hit the subscribe button and would like to, please do that. Give the video a thumbs up and hit the little notification bell, which will alert you every time I post a new upload, which will be about once a month at this point. Anyways, back to the video, the upload point. This radio, even though it's not working right now, up until 2 years ago, it did work very well. All the buttons worked, everything worked fine, the display worked great. Everything works good, and the thing that I love about this thing, is it has the Delco Bose Gold Series in this, and it's got a CD player and a cassette player. So with the cassette player, of course, I could plug in my iPhone with the cable and play music, play CDs. But the Bose system, I swear, it's the first time I ever had a Bose system, first time I ever heard of Bose systems when I bought this car. It amazes me that you can have speakers that are that old. And I'm talking, how old is this car now? Let me think here for a second. 91, 01, 2011. Yeah, 27 years old. Am I right? Yeah. 27 years old, and you had speakers that sounds that good. And the bass pounds still really well. Now, if you crank it up the whole way, of course, I'm a little cracky, but what do you expect? But the speakers do sound really nice in this car, and I really wish the radio was still working so I could experience that a lot more than I already do. But right now, I haven't experienced it at all. But I love the radio in this car. I think they did a great job putting the Bose system in here. It was a great addition to the Corvette name, and I think they did a great job with that. The interior altogether, I am very pleased with. I honestly don't have any complaints about it at all. I think everything is very well put together. I like the door handles. I like the locks. I like the window controls, the mirror controls, which my mirrors do still work. I am not sure what the point of this vent is right here. I know it's there and it blows hot air a lot. Not sure why or what that's about, but I do like also how you can actually lock this center compartment here. There's how you control the seats on both sides there. They both work very well. I do like this little button right here, this cinch button. You can pull the seat belt down to a certain point and hit cinch, and it'll actually like lock the seat belt, which is really nice, especially for people who don't like the seat belt rubbing their neck. But I think these seats are just beautiful. I like how they're leather, of course. This Corvette is written in the actual seat, like embroidered right in. But these are the power sports seats that came with this car. The interior of this whole car, though, I think is great. I just like everything. I do like this little this sill right here. I actually sit on it a lot, like when I'm doing certain things in here. But I like the display that this has. I like the leather. Not leather, but this black looking material up here. I like how it has these compartments back here. You can pull that up and there's plenty of little space in there. Now when I say plenty, I mean like you can put a couple books in there if you want. You can put some books in there if you'd want. You know, smaller stuff like that. Smaller books, of course, not like encyclopedias or anything. But The interior is definitely the part that I like the most. I mean, I like a lot about this car. But I said earlier in the video that the thing I like the most is the fact that my car is black. And the reason I said black kind of goofy in the front is because since I was a little kid, I used to say the word black. I used to go black, and that's just something that's stuck with me, and people that know me just every time I say the word black normal, they're like, wait, what'd you say? And I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, black. Anyways, just beyond that, I think the thing I like the most about this car, actually I know the thing I like the most about this car is not the fact that it's black, but I love the removable top. I said in videos previous to this one that I honestly never, unless I do happen to get caught in rain. What is this on my screen? Hold on here. X, there we go. I never drive with the top on, unless of course I got stuck in rain, but 99% of the time the roof is always off. I mean, I won't even put it on to store it in the winter time. It stays off the entire time. I did have it on, this past April. My dad and I went to a concert, and when we left it was pretty darn cold, so I put the roof on at that point. So it does still go on very well. The screws are very good, and I do like this about the car too. It's really neat. I don't know a lot of cars that would do this, but it actually comes with a Corvette ratchet with the actual attachment here to do your here's one of the screws that come up to do the roof, but it actually comes with this, which is what I also use to put on that back latch thing that I showed you guys in the previous video as well. Here's another thing that I absolutely love about this car, and based off where the camera is sitting right now, you might have an idea of what that is, but here's one of the things I love about this car. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I love the sound of this thing. The sound alone is what gets most of the compliments of when I'm driving it around parking lots. We're like, hey, nice car, it sounds great. Like, thanks a lot, dude. Because I love a V8 for one. If they offered these in V6s, I wouldn't even have bought one ever. I would have bought a Prius. No, I wouldn't have bought a Prius. I would never buy a Prius, ever. But yes, the sound of this car is what I absolutely adore and love to death. So that almost finishes up everything that I love about the C4 generation, especially from 91 and newer. Now there is one thing I want to bring to your attention though, and you won't really understand this until you sit in one and drive one, and I've been told this from some other people, so I know it's not just me letting hot air out of my mouth. But even though these only have 250 horsepower, now the 92, the LT1 came out and it had 250 horsepower, I believe. Even though it only has 300 horsepower, this has 250. Even though this only has 250 horsepower and 350 foot-pound of torque, it seems like it's a lot faster than what it actually is. And I believe the reason that is, and I've heard this, and I do honestly believe it's true, is that it's the seating position. The way that you sit in this car, the way you sit down in it, like in a cockpit, it just feels like you're going faster when you hit the throttle. A friend of mine has a C5, and he told me that he's driven both, and even in his C5, which has a lot more power, he still feels like his C4 accelerates faster, even though it's not, but it feels like it's accelerating faster just because of the seating position. And I think that's very interesting. I don't know if Corvette intended it to feel that way, it was just a mistake or what, or maybe, I don't know, I have no idea. I'm not one of the engineers, GM. But however, they did do a great job. But I love the seating position in this car for that reason. And I also like, speaking of that, is how you can change the miles per hour to kilometers per hour when you're driving, because it seems like you're going a heck of a lot faster. That's a joke. I do that every once in a while just to, because I'm just me. But it is cool to see you go from like 0 to 100 kilometers like lickety split. But I think the number one, I've already said number one 2 times, but I think, not number one, but the thing that is just sets this car apart from everything else is the fact that it's simply a Corvette. Just the fact that I can own a black C4 1991 Corvette has literally just made me a very happy person. It's one of those things that whenever you drive it to work, whenever you drive it anywhere really, whenever you walk out of the parking lot or anywhere and you see this car sitting there and you know that it's yours and you're getting ready to get in it and drive off, I don't know, it just gives you a really good feeling. And to know that it's this old and still works as good as it does. I know there's a lot of things that are wrong with my car. If you don't know what they are, check out the last video. I just like having a Corvette. It's been my dream car since I was a little boy, and I bought this when I was 19 years old for $7,900, which is a steal. Everyone that thinks I have this car is like, oh, your daddy must have bought it for you because you're a rich little spoiled kid. First of all, my Volkswagen Jetta cost more than this car. I don't even want to hear about it. Okay, I bought this car with my own pennies. It was $209.65 a month for 5 years. I worked full time or lived at home. Of course I had money. I wasn't married with kids. Anyways, this about wraps us up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit that subscribe button, like this video, give it a thumbs up. That really helps out, get my video out there. I appreciate all your support, all your comments, all your compliments. I appreciate you guys very much. I can't thank you enough. I wish I could thank you all in person, but I can't. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.